Hello everyone, these are the Helene Jeans, a sewing pattern by Anna Allen. In today's video, I'm going to show you the process of making them, and I hope it helps to make sewing your own pair of jeans a more approachable project. The double front patches are very much inspired by the iconic Rudy Jude utility jeans. The Helene Jeans pattern has a similar shape to these as well. Before getting started, it's important to pre-wash your fabric in the way that you will care for your jeans. If that's putting them in the washer and dryer, do that to your fabric. If you prefer to soak and hang dry, that's what you'll do with your fabric before sewing. This will prevent your jeans from shrinking. I began by tracing my pattern pieces onto the denim. Unfortunately, the audio from this clip didn't come through, but I'm explaining that I drafted the double front pattern piece for a different pair of jeans and ended up changing the curve near the center on my fabric. So here I am tracing that curve that I preferred from the first pair, and I'm correcting my pattern piece before cutting into my denim. Basically, I lowered the curve a bit. I think this matches the Rudy Jude front patch shape more closely. Okay, next up, I cut out all of my pattern pieces from my fabric. You can use fabric scissors as I am here, or a rotary blade to cut as well. And here are all of the pieces together. I thread my machine with regular or universal thread in the bobbin and a denim top stitching thread through the top of my machine. Both threads are white. Before beginning to construct the jeans, I serge the side seams of the front and back leg pieces as well as the sides of the patch pieces. If you don't have a serger, you can achieve this with a zigzag stitch on your sewing machine. Now for the knee patches. I begin by turning up the bottom of the knee patches twice and sewing that down, then pressing in all other sides that will be sewn to the front leg pieces. I sewed 2 lines of top stitching to attach the patches to the front legs, leaving an opening at the bottom. Next, I turned the left front edge under 1/4 inch twice and stitched that down. Then I finished the right front rise and left crotch along the raw edges. For the button fly, I marked where the buttonholes will be, folded it in half wrong sides together, and then finished the raw edges with my serger. Then I use my sewing machine's buttonhole foot to sew the buttons onto the fly piece. Place the fly against the wrong side of the left front leg just shy of the edge and pin into place. Then sew a line of basting stitches along the edge of the fly about 1/4 inch in. This will be your guide when doing the fly top stitching from the right side. Once you do 2 lines of top stitching on the front, remove the basting stitches. Next, place the underlap piece right sides together with the right front leg and sew at 3/8 seam allowance. This is then folded to the wrong side and edge stitched down. Next, the 2 front legs are sewn together at the crotch and top stitched. This is a highly visible area on the jeans, so it's important to go slowly and aim for even top stitching. The next step is to prepare the back pockets by pressing the top down twice and top stitching, then pressing the other edges in and giving them a good iron. I like to use clips to hold the pocket edges in place until I'm ready to attach them to the jeans. Then we move on to the front pockets. Mark the coin pocket placement on the right pocket bearer with tailor's chalk. I like to use a ruler to get an accurate line. The coin pocket is then attached to the bearer, and the bearers are attached to the pocket bags. Place the wrong side of the pocket bag to the right side of the jeans, matching openings together. Sew this seam at 1/2 inch and then trim to 1/4 inch. Then flip the pocket to the inside of the jeans, press, and top stitch with 2 rows of top stitching. The pocket bags are then assembled with French seams. You sew the edges right sides together, then trim the seam, turn the pocket out, and sew again at 1/4 inch. This method encloses all raw edges inside. The pockets are then basted to the sides and tops of the leg pieces. It's really starting to look like a pair of pants. Onto the back legs. We'll begin by attaching the yokes to the top of the legs, pressing that finished seam upwards and top stitching it down. With right sides together, sew the center back seam at 1/2 inch and finish the seams together. This seam is pressed to the left and then top stitched down. Now the back pockets can be placed and top stitched to the pants. And here is where everything comes together. Align the front and back legs along the inseam, making sure that the bottoms match up and the upper thigh area stretches a bit to place the crotch seams together. This seam is sewn at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, finished, pressed to the front, and top stitched. Making jeans is all about this repetition. Sew, finish, press, top stitch. Align the sides of the front legs to the back and sew at 1/2 inch seam allowance. The side is finished until the end of the pocket bag, and then the seams are pressed open down the leg. The finished pocket area is pressed towards the back and top stitched down. You also do a little bar tack at the bottom of this line of top stitching. I decided to hem the pants at this point as I've made them before and know the length that works for me. You just do a 1/2 inch turn up twice and top stitch. Next up is attaching the waistband. I decided not to interface it this time so that the fabric can relax as the rest of the jeans do over time with wear. For a waistband that doesn't give, interfacing is advised. Personal preference, whatever you feel is more comfortable on your body. The waistband is sewn right sides together, then flipped to the inside before being top stitched down. I like to trim the seam allowance here near the center front where the button and buttonhole will be. This just makes things easier later as you won't have a thick piece of fabric to go over with your buttonhole foot. Then make the belt loops by finishing one edge, folding your pattern piece into thirds, and top stitching 2 rows down. Cut this piece into 5 even lengths, about 3.5 inches, and fold one edge down before pinning or clipping to the jeans. These are top stitched at top and bottom to attach. Nearing the end here, the final step is to make your top buttonhole in the waistband and to attach your buttons. I'm using screw together jeans buttons, some hammer in, both work great. And here they are, my handmade Rudy Jude inspired double front Helene jeans. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I've inspired you to make a pair of your own. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.